The moon hung heavy in the ink-black sky, casting eerie shadows that danced across the deserted road. I found myself driving home after a long day, eager to sink into the comfort of my bed. But as fate would have it, a detour forced me onto an unfamiliar path, a road that cut through a dense, foreboding forest. The forest exhaled a haunting sigh as my car's headlights cut through the velvety darkness. Branches clawed at the edges of my vision, whispering secrets in rustling tongues. An air of unease settled upon me, a feeling that I was intruding upon a realm where nature held dominion. Then, as if conjured by the night itself, a figure emerged from the shadows ahead. A man, solitary and vulnerable, emerged onto the narrow road. His clothes hung tattered, and the pale moonlight glinted in his eyes as he frantically waved for assistance. With a hesitant sigh, I pulled my car to a halt beside him. His presence was both enchanting and disquieting, a figure of mystery against the backdrop of the dark forest. His hand grasped the door handle and he slipped into the passenger seat, a fleeting smile touching his lips. "Thank you," he murmured, voice like a whisper on the wind. As the car rumbled back to life, an inexplicable sense of dread began to claw at my insides. The man's features seemed to flicker in the shifting light, his eyes holding a wild glint that sent shivers down my spine. The forest's sighs seemed to grow louder, as if warning me of a lurking danger. We drove on in silence, the atmosphere thick with tension. The man's gaze remained fixated on the winding road ahead, his hands twitching with a restless energy. With each passing second, the world outside seemed to grow more distorted, the trees bending and twisting in unnatural ways. A primal instinct urged me to flee, to escape this spectral passenger who was now casting aside his human facade. The moon cast its light upon him, revealing the grotesque transformation that was underway. His body contorted, bones snapped and stretched, and in place of his human form stood a beast, a monstrous amalgamation of fur and fang. The car screeched to a halt as the creature lunged, claws scraping against metal. Panic surged through my veins as I fought to escape the confines of the vehicle. The forest's whispers turned to chilling laughter, an eerie symphony that underscored the nightmarish scene before me. A struggle ensued, the creature's monstrous strength pitted against my sheer will to survive. Blood and sweat mingled as I fought back, each blow a desperate plea for salvation. The forest watched, its silence an accomplice to the violent struggle that unfolded. Just as despair threatened to engulf me, a final surge of adrenaline propelled me to break free. The creature's howls echoed through the night as I sprinted back down the road, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The forest seemed to close in around me, an unseen audience to the gruesome spectacle. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the howls ceased. The forest fell silent as if holding its breath. I dared not look back, fearing the gruesome fate that might await me if I did. Instead, I stumbled out of the woods, my breath ragged and my mind reeling. But the forest's secrets remained locked away, the truth of that night shrouded in shadows and uncertainty. Did the creature's hunger consume me, or did I manage to evade its clutches? The moonlight revealed nothing, leaving me to wonder whether the forest still held its monstrous secret, waiting for another unsuspecting traveler to stumble upon its eerie realm.